Now, we've spent the better part of the first bits of this course building the foundation. We've looked at how to prompt AI, how to read and verify the code that it's going to give you, how to fix it when it goes wrong. Now, we're going to use all of that. This lesson is really about giving you the tools to identify what you can actually automate. Because knowing how to write a script is one thing, and thankfully, due to the use of AI, it's making our jobs a whole lot easier. But knowing which tasks in your day deserve a script is where the real value lives. By the end of this lesson, you're going to have a clear system for spotting automation opportunities and a ready-made list of projects that you could get started on. Let's go. Now, before we look at specific projects, I want to talk about a shift in how you approach your working day. Most sysadmins start out in the before column of this slide. They know scripting would help, they've been meaning to learn it for ages, but every week they're doing the same repetitive tasks manually. And every week, something more urgent gets in the way. I know I've certainly been there, but with AI, that excuse is gone. It's a thing of the past. You don't need to spend 6 months learning PowerShell before you can start to automate anything. You just describe the task, allow AI to write it for you, and verify, then run it. The barrier that used to exist simply doesn't anymore. So the shift is this. Instead of I need to learn scripting one day, the question becomes, what can I automate next? Every repetitive task is now a candidate. Every manual process is now a conversation with AI waiting to happen. And that's really the mindset that I want to build from this course. So here's the habit I really want you to build. And it's just one question. Every time that you finish a task, whether it's a ticket, a change, an incident, ask yourself, did I just do something manually that I will ever have to do again? If the answer is yes, write it down. That's an automation candidate. There are really 3 signals that should trigger this question automatically. First, you just did it and immediately thought, I do this every week. Secondly, a manager or colleague has asked you for the same thing multiple times. Or thirdly, you opened an old ticket to remind yourself how to do something that you know you've done before. All 3 of those are your subconscious telling you the same thing, that that process should probably be automated. And now, thanks to this course, you have the tools to do it. Of course, not every task is worth automating, so before you invest time building scripts, testing it, running through the tasks, you've really got to think about these 4 filters. Filter 1 is frequency. How often are you actually doing this? Daily and weekly tasks are your highest priority. However, a monthly task might be worth doing as a lower priority, but a yearly task only really bothers you if it's complex or error-prone. Filter number 2 is the time cost. How long does it actually take you to do it manually? This is where the numbers get interesting. A task that takes 30 minutes a week sounds like nothing, but that adds up to 26 hours in a working year. More than 3 full working days. Even a 5-minute daily task adds up to about 20 hours a year. When you look at it that way, the case for automation becomes very obvious very quickly. Filter number 3 is error risk. How often do mistakes happen when you do this manually? Wrong username format, missed a step, email sent to the wrong person. If it's a task prone to human error, automating it removes that risk completely. So consistency is really the win there. And number 4 is scriptability. Can a script actually do this? If it involves a command line, a file, a service, or a user account, it almost certainly can. However, if it requires someone to make a judgment call or interact with a GUI that has no API, then the AI is probably not going to be able to help you there. But I will say this, you are going to be surprised how many tasks do fall into the yes column of being able to automate. So the first category I want to talk about that could potentially be a good project for you to look at is user account management. This is where most of you will find your first automation win, because this is the most common source of repetitive manual work in any IT department. Things like new user onboardings, user offboardings, password resets, inactive account cleanups, group membership reports, and bulk user creation. All of these is a script waiting to be written, and more than likely it's something that you're having to do over and over again manually if you haven't already created an automated process, right? So if, for example, new user onboarding, every time someone joins your company, you might have to create an AD account manually, set the username, assign the groups, and set up a temp password forcing a reset on first login. That's the same steps every single time, but it can absolutely be done with one single script. Category 2 is system monitoring and health checks. And what makes these special is they run without you. What you typically do is you build them once, schedule them, and they do the work while you're not on the system. So we can do things like disk-based monitoring. So we can check all the drives every morning and alert you when something drops below a threshold. We might program a service health check so we can verify that your key services are running and restart anything if it's stopped. Or do things like a server uptime report, monitor the CPU and RAM, check the event logs for any error codes or any event IDs that may flag a warning or a high critical risk, as well as checking on our certificate expiries. And I know this is something that a lot of sysadmins are guilty of, allowing certificates to expire because you had no asset management and nothing checking when they actually were. So you could set up a script pretty easily to check your SSL certificate expiry dates and alert you and your team before they lapse. This is what professional IT looks like. It's not firefighting, it's all about prevention. Category 3 is maintenance and housekeeping. So this is kind of the unglamorous stuff, right? Nobody enjoys doing this, but it has to get done. Things like log file cleanups, temp file cleanups, doing an inventory of the software installed on all your devices, managing your Windows updates, managing your backups, and verifying that the backups are actually working and are able to be restored from, as well as things like printer queue cleanup. Automating these doesn't just save time, it removes them from your mental load entirely. You're not remembering to do them, you're not manually working through them, and you're not wondering whether they got done last week. The script is there to do it for you, the log confirms it, and you're able to move on with your day and weeks. And category 4 is reporting and compliance. And this is where automation can actually make you look genuinely impressive to management and to auditors, and is a really good thing for you to implement and then use during your yearly PDR if you're looking to jump into the higher level roles or even look for something like a pay increase. Think about an Active Directory audit. Manually, that's someone sitting down and exporting data, formatting it, checking it, and then presenting it. But automated, it's a script that runs on the 1st of every month and can email you and your team a clean, formatted report without you needing to touch anything. That's a career asset, not just a time saver. We've got other things in here as well, like auditing your admin accounts, looking for any failed logins, looking for locked accounts, license compliance, as well as firewall rule auditing. So how do you actually get started? Well, I want to give you a simple 3-step system. Step 1 is capture. Start a list right now. You can call it something like automate this, whether it's in your notes app, spreadsheet, sticky note, OneNote, it doesn't matter. Every time this week that you do a manual task and think, I keep having to do this manually, write it down. Don't filter it, don't judge it, just capture it. Give it a week and I promise you, you'll have more candidates than you know what to do with. Number 2 is prioritize. Go through your list and run each task through the 4 filters: frequency, time, cost, error risk, and scriptability. The tasks that score highest on frequency and time costs are your starting point, and you might want to pick your top 2 or 3. And number 3, actually start to build it. Take your number 1 task and build the script. Describe it clearly, open up something like ChatGPT or Copilot or Claude, prompt it properly using everything we covered in this course, then be sure to do things like read the output, verify it, test it, and then finally deploy it. Then move on to number 2. The tip at the bottom of step 3 is the most important thing on this slide. 1 script built beats 10 scripts planned, so don't get stuck just making a perfect list. Actually pick something, build it, and move on. So let's talk about what this actually means in practice over time. A single task that takes 30 minutes a week, something as simple as a manual disk space check, saves you 26 hours a year when it's automated. That's more than 3 full working days back in your calendar from 1 simple script. A 60-minute weekly task saves you around 60 hours a year, and if you automate it, just 5 small tasks over the course of this course, you're looking at roughly 3 working days of time returned to you annually. Now, the obvious question is, what do you do with that time? And this is where it gets interesting. You can use it to learn more skills, whether that's networking, cloud security, the things that move your career forward. You use it to take on bigger projects that actually get noticed, and you use it to make yourself indispensable, because the sysadmin who automates is the one who's the business genuinely can't afford to lose. And you reduce your stress because scripts don't forget steps, they don't have bad days, and they don't need to work overtime to get things done. So here's where we go from here. 5 things I want you to do coming out of this lesson. Number 1 is start your automate this list today. Number 2 is run through your top 3 through the 4 filters we discussed, score them and find your highest priorities. Step 3 is take that cast and build it, then look to schedule it and move on to the next one and repeat. Remember that the sysadmin who automates is the sysadmin the business cannot afford to lose. And that's who this course is designed to make you. So let's go ahead and start looking to build something cool.